Adab to all my friends from your friend astrologer and guide Irfan. Once more with you from your very own channel Astro Assurance. One of the important things in our life is our career, our jobs and a regular livelihood that we have so that the kitchen fire can keep burning. However, we also get into situations where we have a problem with in our careers, in our livelihood itself, where either we have been asked to leave from our jobs, or in a moment of crisis, or in a moment of not thinking through clearly, or in a moment of not being able to handle issues at work, we may have put in our papers, we may have quit our jobs. And sometimes it happens that we may remain jobless or without a livelihood for long periods of time. Now, it's easy to look at the placements in the horoscope, look at the connection between the 10th house, the 2nd house, the 11th house, and from all these connections, strongest planet in the horoscope, strongest house in the horoscope, and do all of this and calculate and come up with where you can have a likely career or job or even business from. However, there are always trouble times that somebody may face, either because they are going through a tough phase where livelihood itself is dried up. In spite of having a career in a certain area, the career is put a full stop to for a period, or you can say a comma for a period of time. And it's not that the career is lost in that particular stream, but when the planets which give you that career themselves are under affliction or going through a bad transit, or if you're going through a Sadhe Sati where Saturn is strongly afflicting the Lagna or the 10th house or even the 11th house, then it may happen, or even the 2nd house, then it may happen that the livelihood, income, earnings may dry up, and it may be for a short period of time, from anywhere between a few months to even a few years. Few months may be okay, but it can also be sometimes long term where it goes on for years, and that's when the trouble starts. And then it's difficult to sustain without any livelihood or the earnings coming in. Then what do you do? Then sometimes we depend on loans, we depend on help from others, from friends or family members or extended family members, but even that cannot go on forever. There will be a time where even that will dry up, and we will ourselves feel a little embarrassment to seek help. It is no shame to seek help from others when we are going through tough times, and we will offer the same help to others when they go through. This happens in life, and many of us have to live this karma. Whenever karma wants to teach us humility and that there is no shame in asking help, and it finds us haughty or even arrogant or having more bloated pride, then sometimes karma pushes you towards such a period in your life so that we learn humility. We learn that it's an interdependent life. It is not we are not islands by ourselves, that we are self-sufficient in everything. So sometimes our karma, to face the karma, to pay off the karmic debt, or to learn karmic lessons, we do go through this phase. Now, what do we do during this phase? Normally, Jupiter is seen as the Jiva, as the provider, the one who brings us, prosperity and opulence in life also. And Sun is the soul. Sun feeds the soul and keeps the soul going. Moon keeps the mind going, keeps the emotions going. But what keeps the stomach going? And what do we fall back on during such times where career is dried up, regular earnings are dried up? And if you know, the only planet which has the knowledge of Sanjeevani, which even Guru or Brahaspati doesn't have, that planet is Shukracharya or Venus. So what is Sanjeevani? When your life is going through a tremendous pressure, when you don't know who to go to, there is no other help, there is no succor, then what do? We have to have some Sanjeevani, something that you can clutch on, some straw. It is said in Hindi, डूबते को तिनके का सहारा. That means if you are drowning, you will try to clutch on even straws which are floating around you. So what is that Sanjeevani in our life which can keep us going in such troubled times when nothing is working, livelihood is at a comma or at a full stop for some time, and there is no earning in those savings. That time the knowledge of Sanjeevani, the planet which has the knowledge of Sanjeevani, which is Venus Shukracharya, that comes to our rescue. That becomes Sanjeevani for us till such a time that our career kicks back, our business restarts, and we can start doing better in our lives and in our careers. How does Venus help us? If your career is stuck up and if you find earnings are stuck up, why am I saying that you can fall back on Venus? Firstly, Venus is the lord of the second house, or the second sign, which is Taurus. It is a money sign, but it is also the sign of food, the food that we like to eat, or the house that we are born in, that teaches us what kind of food we eat, grow up, and that becomes a palate also. So the second house being the sign of Venus and also the sign of food, and hence food is directly associated with Venus. The better food that we eat, and if we are able to eat good food in our lives, hygienic food, all kinds of variety of foods, and more rich fruits, then Venus is stronger and stronger in our charts. And Venus is also the lord of the 7th house. 7th house is the house of day-to-day living, day-to-day meeting of other people. So if food and day-to-day food and meeting of people and dealing with day-to-day life is connected, then Venus is the fallback planet on in terms of any challenges to the career, or comma or full stop, or a troublesome period where career is not going on. How can you depend on Venus? Firstly, Venus is the lord of the second house. But what is the 4th house to the second house? The 4th house to the Lagna gives you the materialistic benefits of the Lagna. So the 4th house gives you house, gives you vehicles, gives you jewels, all sorts of materialistic things. 4th house is the representer. So the 4th house to the second house is the 5th house. So what gives you the benefits of the second house, or the outcome of the second house? The 4th house from it is the 5th house. 5th house is also the house of what artistic skill sets you can use, and also it is the house of what you like. So 5th house being the house of both what you like and what you love to do. If you pick up on something which you like to do and love to do, or hobbies, or something that you're very good at, artistic at, and you also like to do that, then if you take that up as something which can give you an earning that works for you. Why? The 5th house is also the 8th house to the 10th house. So both 8th house is a house of both obstacles, upheavals, and rebirth. And 8th house is also called the house of life. It is also called the Ayusthan in astrological terms. So if it is the Ayusthan or the life house, then, and also the house of upheaval, so it is the house of life and upheavals to life, which are seen from the 8th house. So 5th house being the 8th house to the 10th house, it will also be the Sanjeevani to the 10th house, the life giver to the 10th house of career, or the 10th house is also the Arthasthan. So the life giver to the Arthasthan is the 5th house. So the 5th house also being the house of gains, and also the house where a change in job, a change in career because of being 8th to the 10th house can be seen, and hence a change in where you work, even temporarily, can be seen from the 5th house. So if you take up something which you like to do, which you love to do, Venus is also the harbinger of love, or it represents love. And so if you like to do, love to do something, and something is, you are good at something and you take it up, or you become good at it and you run with it, that can give you a temporary lifestyle or temporary livelihood, which can later on become even your permanent livelihood. A lot of people who go through tough times, they use their Venus to do something in life. For instance, a lot of people have become Instagram stars where they dress up in a certain way, they beautify themselves up, or they bring up a unique look for themselves, and they have not thousands or lakhs but millions of followers, and they have a livelihood out of it. A lot of people do parody of other models, supermodels. They try to dress up like them in a more funny way, and they have millions of followers. So you can do various creative things, because Venus is also the planet of creativity, and use that creative endeavor to present to the world, and then to attract from there bounty, abundance and livelihood. If not huge bounty, at least enough to sustain you, enough to become your Sanjeevani. Now, how do you know what to do about Venus? Firstly, Venus is not only the ruler of the second house related to food, but Venus is also the Karaka of the fourth house. As I said, anything and everything that the money can buy is represented by Venus, especially of a better quality and a better lifestyle. So rather than a lorry, a truck, which is a vehicle but it represents more of Saturn energies, a car, a sedan, an SUV, that is represented by Venus. Rather than a house, ingredients like cement or stone or gravel, which is used to make walls, or bricks, that is not represented, that Venus does not represent, but anything that we are able to see, which pleases the eyes in the house, like the flooring of the house, the paint on the walls, the lights or the lighting fixtures on the wall, paintings on the wall, the curtains that you use, anything and everything that you beautify the house with, plus anything that you use for home decor, including beautiful bed sheets, your furniture, good looking furniture, well designed crafted furniture, that all is represented by Venus. And of course foods. So anything that you do in these areas, whether it's food, whether it is doing something creativity, in looks, in clothes, in home decor, in vehicles, in vehicle designing, car upholstery, music, fashion, all these are related to Venus. So wherever your interest lies, wherever you like to do something and you have some skill set, to pick that up and do something with that area, that is a good thing about Venus. So if you think you have a strong second house and Venus is placed in the second house, then food and doing something about food can easily and automatically come to you. And if there is a combination along with Mars, then you can run a restaurant business. I know of people where a couple where the man, and it's a family, not just a couple, and the man fell on bad days and he lost his job, and for many months there was no job. The woman of the house decided to do something about a community kitchen. So she told women in her building that I can cook a meal for you, you don't need to depend on the dabbawala. And she was somebody who was known in the building as somebody who could cook very well. So the women thought we can help her, and it's a family, and they gave her the opportunity. So she would cook meals at home for 20 to 25 people in the building, and the husband would help her in getting the ingredients, help in the kitchen, and they would make the dabbas for people. If you have nothing to fall back on, if you have only a Venus to fall back on, people have fallen back on Venus and they have sustained during the trouble times till their careers or their businesses have picked up. So this is one instance where second house is related. How do we know where we could do? One simple thing is, wherever Venus is placed in your horoscope, that becomes the Sanjeevani for you. That can give you money, that can give you a career, that can give you a temporary livelihood. It can also create business opportunities for you. So whichever house Venus is, you can pick up a career and take it forward. Venus in the third house is about creativity, it's about writing, it's about communication, it is about branding, it is about writing ads, it is about writing blogs on creative things, artistic things. I know somebody who writes movie reviews about new movies coming in, and he in fact writes reviews about old movies also, and he has a Venus and moon in the third house, and he writes very good reviews, and he has his own followings, and he also earns money out of it because people like his reviews. People pay him to write. Many producers and directors pay him to write reviews about their movies, but he is very honest, and very rarely he would ever do something which would go against the grain. And I read his reviews also, just to see what he writes, and to encourage him as well. And he's pretty honest about his reviews. If Venus in the fourth house, then anything about home, upholstery, car designing, curtains, bed sheets, anything about home, cars, upholstery, anything materialistic, you can take it up. If Venus is in the fifth house, then you can do anything related to kids. You can teach kids dancing, singing, you can do tuitions, you can teach children mantras, old texts. So a lot of opportunities come from the fifth house. Nothing else. People who have very strong Venus in the fifth house, and if Mercury also supports, and the fifth lord is stock, you can do stocks, you can do shares. So Venus in the fifth house creates opportunities for the fifth house. In the sixth house, you can do anything related to helping and supporting. For instance, all spas, all salons, all those people who can help you to beautify you, or help you keep better health, gyms, all these are represented by sixth house. Working in hotels, supplying to hotels or to resorts, all these are represented by the sixth house. Helping in hospitals, supplying to hospitals, supporting NGOs, supporting old age homes, doing something for old age homes, supplying food to old age homes, supplying service people to old age homes, having your own security agency can also be seen from the sixth house. So wherever Venus is there in your horoscope, you can depend on it not only as a temporary Sanjeevani to fall back on, or it can also become an extra opportunity for you to earn. I know people who have a good career, a flourishing career, but they also have a side business, and most of the time that side business is connected to where Venus is there in their horoscope, and it gives them an added revenue. Sometimes they think that I'm doing so good in the side business, do I really want to continue in this job? And I know of people who have quit their careers and taken up something that they thought that they're good at, and then they have been successful. I know somebody who has a Venus in the 12th house, second lord Venus in the 12th house, which is Aries ascendant, and Taurus Venus goes into the 12th house. One thing was, he was abroad and he was doing very well abroad, but he had to come back to India, and when he came back he was thinking what to do, and then he took up a farm. What is a farm? Farm is also secluded, away from the city. Everybody is away from the cities, away from everybody. He took up a farm and he started to grow vegetables and fruits on the farm. Second house, food, Venus exalted in the 12th house of seclusion and staying away. And he would stay for long periods of time on the farm for many days, sometimes months, and he would come back on weekends. Sometimes after 2 or 3 weekends he would come back home to see his family, his wife and kids. After 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, sometimes after a month he would come back because the farm was at some distance. Sometimes his family would visit him, but slowly he grew that business, and then he started to supply food items or the vegetables and fruits to him in hotels, and he is doing very, very good business. So he had to come back. So it gave him both. Exalted Venus in the 12th house gave him both a good career in foreign lands and made a good money. But after he came back to India, he took it up as a food business, took a farm, secluded area, but he was able to do well. So wherever Venus is placed in your horoscope, it will give you an opportunity to create avenues of money from there. Let's look up at some shlokas, and let's look up at some combinations where they give you an alternate employment and alternate livelihood. Parashara says, Sukhi Vantapu Shrestha Sulochana Bhrugosutta Kavyakarta Kafadikyo Nilatma Varkamurdhaj. I translate, Venus is charming, has a splendorous physique, is excellent or great in disposition, has charming eyes, is a poet, is phlegmatic and windy and has curly hair. So anything to do with where you're beautifying the physique, you are making your physique splendorous or good to look at or great to look at, whether it's a good body or putting somebody in shape, working in gyms. Anytime Venus and Mars combinations come together, or even as a very strong Venus connected to the Lagna or the 5th house or the 10th house, then gyms, spas, salons, all that come into the picture. Second, Venus is a poet, writing creatively, writing blogs, writing on food, writing about reviews, or just writing some fun element can all be very good. You can write blogs on recent events. You can visit events which are happening and you write on those events. You can go to a music event and write a review about the music event. You can go to an exhibition and write a review about the exhibition and what it is about. So if you write about the events in the city or in the country, about the events, you go there, especially if it's a festival of 4 days, 5 days, 6 days, then you go there on the first day like a movie review, and then people read that and then people can go for it more and more. So there are various ways where Venus can give you the creativity, good writing expression, make you a poet, make you a good writer, and help people with the area that Venus is placed in. So if you combine your creativity with helping people, supporting others on a day-to-day basis, Venus rules the 7th house of Libra, then Venus can give you a good livelihood in that area. So whether you talk about jewelers, people who do embroideries, people who are into painting, who are into interior designing, who are into sculpting, who are in home decor, in tourism, in hotel management, in computer industry, in giving parts of computers or giving parts of items which are used in the kitchen cutlery, all these are related to Venus. However, if Venus also has energies and a conjunction or sharing of energies with other planets, then it can be a good yoga, good combination to fall back on, and it can give you more impetus in the line or give you a direction towards Venus is pointing towards where you can earn your livelihood. Parashara says if the Sun and Venus are conjunct, the native earns money by dealing in things having to do with the eyes, color paints, or from the stage, theatre, cinema, public amusements, weapons, arms and ammunition. When Venus and Saturn conjoin, the native is efficient in calligraphy, painting, etc. So calligraphy and painting was very renowned in ancient times, and even today you can find on beautiful monuments there is calligraphy. Today calligraphy is done through computers. A lot of people want to design their cards, invitation cards for weddings. They design their logos. So a lot of people who are in animation, who are using computers for designing, creating logos, creating visiting cards, creating all sorts of writing material, books, covers of books, pictures for books. There are business houses which supply just pictures. All these are copyrighted pictures, and you can ask them for pictures of various kinds to be used for in your business, for your cards, for your magazines and whatnot. Then writing for magazines, creating copybooks, creating doodles for the internet using this very platform, YouTube. This also represents Venus to a large extent. If the Moon and Venus are together, the native is clever in the purchase and sale of cloth. He may be generally clever in trade and merchandise. If you have a strong Venus in the 12th house and for some reason you have not been able to create opportunities or gone abroad, then Venus in the 12th house, especially in a friendly sign, can also give you something associated with trade, foreign trade. So if you have a novelty store where you keep foreign goods, duty-free goods, that kind of a business, that kind of a shop, then you can do good. You can also be a dealer who is in touch with people abroad, and you, through your affiliation or association with them, you import things and you supply to people in India. It can be anything from paper to toys to all sorts of things. In fact, even some food items. If two planets conjoin in the 4th house, the native gains financially from ships, boats or from articles transported by or across water. Also liquids associated with either foods or scents. So Venus is the Karaka of the 4th house. So if Venus and any other benefic planet gets into the 4th house, including that of a Jupiter or even Sun for example, then somebody can do good in perfumes, in scents, and also in items which are other liquids which are either connected to food or to perfume industry or attar as it called, especially which can be used for people to smell good but can also be used as aroma for the foods. So you can, somebody with the Venus, strong Venus in the 4th house, especially if connected to the 2nd house or to Jupiter or Sun, can also be associated with perfume, with scents, food industry, and also related to, especially related to homegrown industry also, where you are picking up the things from the local goods, local producers, and then becoming a supplier for them. For Libra ascendant natives, since it is ruled by Venus, it gives singers, actors, beauticians, hairdressers, fashion models, interior decorators and furniture makers, perfume manufacturers, social workers, photographers, tea shop or coffee shop owners, snack and restaurant keepers, and all similar trades. Venus powerful with Rahu and Moon can give artists, sculptors, cinema artists and models. A Libra and Saturn and Venus figures in strength, then you can have cartoonists, cameramen, tailors, dress designers and makeup artists or assistants. Mars, Rahu, Venus make their native work in cabaret shows, gambling casinos and similar haunts of sin and pleasure. Venus Ketu combined can give you makers of light instruments, computers and artificial jewelry. So now we have talked about multiple combinations that Venus can become a livelihood provider for you. So if you are stuck up in your career, you don't have a job, or you are waiting for a job to happen, or you are in between jobs, or you're looking for an alternate livelihood, or even trying to think of doing something for a few years before you go back to your job, look at Venus's placement in the horoscope, which house it rules, what energies it is sharing with what planets, and using the combinations of Venus and that other planet and the house, you can do something creative in the line of that house, and you can make an earning which can later on become even your regular livelihood. So guys, look at the Venus in your horoscope and see if you are doing something related to that, or it could be something that can take you forward if you're feeling stuck up, or if you're looking at an alternate means of earning, or even a side earning while you continue to do what you're right now doing. So friends, like this video, share this video, and if you're looking for a consultation from me, please reach out to me at the links given below. Until we meet some other time, this is your friend Astrologer and Guide Irfan signing off. Ciao.